Live from Daytona Beach, Florida, it's National Junior College Athletic Association Women's Basketball. We welcome you inside the Lemerand Center on the campus of Daytona State College this afternoon in the first game of a doubleheader. It's the Santa Fe Saints, 13-7 on the year, taking on the Daytona State Falcons, 16-7. 3-0 in the Mid-Florida Conference. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the first of this doubleheader here on WDSC. Austin Line, Ted Sofianos. These are the top two teams in the Mid-Florida Conference. Daytona State trying to stay at the top of the standings. We expect a highly competitive game.
Oh, this is setting up for it to be a good one. Obviously, the one who wins this game is going to be a #1 seed for the conference coming up soon.
This is the second of 3 regular season meetings between the teams. The first one, a 92-88 victory for Daytona State back on January 9th. We hope we get as competitive a game this afternoon. Let's take you through the starting lineups for both teams. That starts with the Santa Fe Saints. 13-7 on the year. Denasia Bogle, a native of Central Florida. She starred at Wildwood. Chardell Jones up front and Rhea Smith in the front court. 6'1" sophomore center. Her presence going to be big today in the first matchup between these teams. The Bigs of Daytona State dominated. There is Chandra Stebbins. She is in her 17th season as the head coach at Santa Fe. Appeared in the state tournament 10 times in the last 12 years. That is the most of any school in the Sunshine State. The lineup for the Daytona State Falcons, 16-7 on the year. They are in the midst of an 8-game winning streak after a challenging non-conference schedule. We'll pause for the lineups for our national anthem. Great rendition of our national anthem. Here is the Daytona State lineup. Great to have Carmela Walker back in the lineup. She missed the first 14 games of the season. The Falcons are 8-0 when she starts. Walker joined by Paris Williams and Jayla Atmore in the backcourt. Melissa Sam and Maddie Batista both had big games in the first meeting between these teams. They are the starters up front. Coach for Daytona State, Janice Washington, in her 3rd year. Last season's Mid-Florida Conference Coach of the Year. Came to Volusia County after 3 seasons as an assistant at Campbell, where she had an outstanding playing career. So, Ted, we mentioned 92-88 the first time these two teams met. Both want to get out and run. We expect an up-tempo game.
Correct. And on paper, they match up pretty closely, as you're seeing. So the 92-88 close difference is not a shocker, to say the least, even though Daytona State and both colleges have actually had some really big blowouts.
Great run for Daytona State. Played a really challenging non-conference schedule. They were 8-7 before Christmas break. They've now won 8 in a row, and Coach Washington's team really playing their best basketball of the season.
And interesting, as Coach Washington, she puts a lot of that onus on Atmore, who was out for a time, as you had just mentioned, but now that she's returned feeling healthy, they've been a little bit on the unbeatable side these last few.
You talk about bolstering your backcourt. Walker and Atmore both missed significant time in the early part of the season. Carmela Walker, who played high school basketball right here in Volusia County at New Smyrna Beach, the team's leading scorer at 14 a game. Her presence has been huge.
Definitely. And if you've ever seen Washington set up her practices, I mean, they are absolutely amazing. The stamina that gets built up, because I've been here long enough to see some of those practices because I live nearby and I come by every once in a while. She is an excellent communicator and a great coach, as you can see from the results thus far.
She's had several different positions, some of them related to basketball, others in the civilian field. She said she really values the opportunity to forge the connection with kids that lasts a lifetime, not just their 2 years here at Daytona State.
Oh, exactly. And I'll tell you, it's so hard sometimes to foster those relationships in a 2-year setting. But you see where these students are going in both colleges. They are on to other #1 NCAA big-time schools. So both coaches doing a phenomenal job. I'm looking real forward to this matchup.
One of those players who's headed on to play at the next level, Melissa Sam, Daytona State's post player, signed early with Delaware State, 21 in white. Daytona State is the home team. They are in white, Santa Fe in the navy blue. And away we go on this Saturday afternoon in Volusia County. Melissa Sam with the first shot, a little bit too strong. And the rebound to Rhea Smith.
Nice breakaway there to start the half for Daytona State.
For 10-minute quarters in women's college basketball, aggressive drive. That's Stephanie Jackson, the sophomore from McKinney, Texas.
Jackson showing no fear there, stepping right into 2 Daytona State players.
Early foul on Rhea Smith. And keeping the post players out of foul trouble is something that Chandra Stebbins talked about in our preparations for this game, because Daytona State dominated the interior the first time these teams met. Sam Batista and Brooke Worrell off the bench all had double-doubles in that first meeting.
As mentioned, I mean, on paper, they both match up pretty similarly, but obviously Daytona State right now with the upper hand and everybody healthy.
Santa Fe in this game without Ernisha Gamble, one of their top guards. She leads the team in assists, double-digit score at almost 13 per game. One of the top players for Santa Fe unavailable as they're on the road here taking on a red-hot Daytona State club. .13 on the shot clock for the Falcons as it comes out high to Walker. Shot clock down to 3. Paris Williams has to let it go off the front rim with the triple. And a rebound pulled down by Shardell Jones. Janisha Law off the side of the rim with that 3. An offensive rebound. Santa Fe really getting after it here in the first couple minutes.
Santa Fe looking really good right now and certainly puncturing holes in the interior. Right now, Daytona State working the perimeter.
Law will try again from distance, and that time she drops it in. The leading scorer for Santa Fe makes it 5-0.
How about that for a quick release? Not a second of hesitation.
Williams unable to answer, and here comes Jones rebounding and leading the break. Nice left-hand finish after the step through. Shardell Jones, the 5'9" freshman.
Very well done under and over for Jones.
Right now, Santa Fe, the more aggressive team at both ends of the floor. Daytona State settling for contested shots. Good rebound in traffic by Batista.
Not seeing too much of an inside game from Daytona State as of yet.
Atmore left alone. Daytona State now 0 for 4 from beyond the three-point line. Good kick. Jackson has a clean look.
Wow.
10-0 Santa Fe.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if Coach Washington has a timeout, but no, it doesn't look like that's going to happen. I spoke too soon.
Waited for the ball to get across half court, not showing much emotion as she brings her team to the sideline. Not at all the start we expected from this club, which has been playing so well.
Wow, heck of a start for Santa Fe, the Saints. My goodness. Looks like Daytona State blindsided a bit here.
Yeah, Santa Fe looks like the team that wants to storm into first place in the league.
Right now, they want it more than Daytona State, that's for sure. You know, it's very hard for me to say the Santa Fe Saints. How about what happened to those poor Saints in football Sunday last week? Boy, there's still an outcry for them to have Roger Goodell step in. Shameful.
Still no statement from the NFL as to whether or not it was actually a missed call. We've heard from Sean Payton. He said he talked to the league and they told him they blew it, but we haven't heard anything official from Roger Goodell or Al Riveron, who's the director of officiating. Wow. Not the outcome that a lot of people expected given the way that game was ending. But let's see how Janice Washington's team does coming out of the timeout, trailing 10-0 and on their heels here in the early going. Offensive rebound, Batista, that's her second. So Noah Walker took it into traffic, and great defense played by Santa Fe. Law snares the board. Chardell Jones. Nice drop pass, good high-low action.
Wow, they are right now just working that interior. Daytona State not able to break through as of yet, still not on the board.
It was Kiaubrey Edwards with that basket, 5'9" sophomore from Daytona Beach. Played high school basketball at Spruce Creek. Bogle gets to her spot. She'll be on the free throw line, and wholesale substitutions coming for the Falcons.
You don't want to get dug into too deep a hole here, Austin. 12-0.
And Denasia Bogle adds to the lead. 5'7" freshman who finished her high school career at Wildwood, played for a state championship in her final high school game. A really explosive player. Bogle 1 for 2. And it's almost a line change for Daytona State. Lots of new faces out there, including Danica Hamilton, who can provide a spark off the bench. Santa Fe really packing it in defensively. This ball fake there by Carrie Lee. Hamilton out of the corner. And Daytona State continues to struggle with their long-range shooting.
Yeah, with that sub change that just came in, Daytona State went a little bit smaller than they were previously.
Well, Daytona State, a team that likes to get up and down, but virtually no opportunities in transition so far.
No, and since they're missing the three-pointers, that's making the accessibility into the interior much more difficult.
Brooke Worrell working for post position. Immediately doubled, and she kicked it out. Carrie Lee sliding through the lane off the glass.
Wow.
To give Daytona State their first bucket.
Kissing the glass, you wonder if she called that one beforehand.
Lee, the 6-foot freshman from Largo in the Bay Area, finally gets Daytona State on the board. An 11-point deficit right now for the Falcons. Count the basket and a foul. Kiaubrey Edwards with her second bucket as the posts continue to muscle inside.
Oh, they're breaking down the Daytona State defense quite effectively so far. And there, the replay with the foul on Batista, her first.
A strong rebound there by Batista, leads the team in that category. Kaya Fulton a chance to attack off the bounce. A little tentative with that drive, out of bounds to Santa Fe.
That was the first play I think we've seen them able to break down the defense. You had Fulton sticking inside underneath the rim, holding off the Santa Fe defender. Just couldn't execute.
A hand check out high. That'll go on Danica Hamilton. Trying to contain a dangerous sophomore guard, Stephanie Jackson, an all-state selection last year. She's been a rock in the backcourt. 14 consecutive starts for Jackson.
She's a player. And right now, as close as you'd like to think they match up on paper, this is not looking so good for the Falcons. 15-2.
Just past the midway point of the first quarter, so a lot of time to make up that margin. Jackson whips it inside. Rhea Smith with the jump hook.
Right, the most necessary thing for happen to them right now is not to panic. Slowly get back in the ball game.
Offensive rebound, Batista, and there's a putback. That's a lot of what we saw the first time these teams met. Batista had 16 points and 10 rebounds.
How about ranked 17th in the nation, field goal percentage at 59 plus.
And her ability to rebound and create her own shot, a big part of the reason why. Nice catch by Rhea Smith. And she was in close, errant pass. We'll turn it over.
Some good pesky defense shown by Daytona State there. They're a little bit loose. Wheels were a little bit loose in the beginning there, but they're coming back, starting to batten down the hatches a little bit better.
Santa Fe's zone has been stifling. Good deflection. Leads to a turnover. Law has space, enters it into Rhea Smith. That just bounced out, and then a loose ball foul committed by Edwards.
Edwards, first foul there, yep, as the announcer just mentioned.
Batista straight up as Rhea Smith made that move. The Daytona State starting to find a rhythm, and there's their first shot from the perimeter. That's Brooke Worrell.
There you go. Now they're taking some of the rust off. They weren't hitting enough, so the defense of Santa Fe was collapsing. Now if they spread it out a little bit more, you might see, oh.
Jackson
no call.
Barrels into a defender, ball loose on the floor, and a timeout for Santa Fe. Chandra Stebbins able to call it while her team was still in possession. So an 8-point lead right now for the Saints as we're just under the 3-minute mark of the first quarter.
And as you mentioned, there's a lot of time left, no need to panic. Here's a replay of that. Interesting no call on that, Austin.
It looked like Batista got to the spot as she hit the deck. But Santa Fe able to keep possession with that timeout. And some of the players off the bench for Daytona State providing a spark. Carrie Lee had the first bucket. Brooke Worrell, 5'10 freshman from Chesapeake, Maryland, just hit that three.
Right. They routinely sub-5 players. Daytona State does that. Not afraid to take out some of the starters and switch them out.
A testament also to the depth on this Daytona State roster.
Oh, definitely. And many of them in double figures with their per-game point values.
Santa Fe led 12-0. Daytona State in the midst of a 7-3 run. Batista on the back of Chardell Jones. That'll be the second foul on Maddie Batista.
Julie Fournier demonstrating a lot of quickness.
Batista going to have to head to the bench. Melissa Sam back on. The Delaware State signee. Jones in between two defenders, out of bounds to Daytona State.
Good defense, swarmed. Jones there, turnover was the result.
Danica Hamilton lifts a three. Once again long, on the backside, Worrell with the bucket, and she went down hard.
Oh yeah, that's going to be sore in the morning.
Worrell helped to her feet by her teammates. They'll get Fournier with the foul. Worrell, another one of those post players who had a big game in the first meeting between these teams. She went for 15 and 10 in 18 minutes.
Yeah, Fournier, that was very unintentional. Just got a little bit under Worrell, and hopefully Worrell will be all right.
Unable to convert the three-point play, but Daytona State has crawled back in it. Now 15-9 after that 12-0 start.
Yeah, that was an onslaught in the beginning.
Jackson curling, Chardell Jones, mid-range jumper. Good offensive set there from Santa Fe.
Well executed. Nice mid-range jumper. 17-9. Coming up on 2 minutes.
Chardell Jones has played well so far for Santa Fe. On the baseline, Sam's jumper off the back rim, and there's Jones with a board.
Yeah, Sam off to kind of a rusty start so far.
Jones attacking off the screen. No one there defensively, and she lays it in.
Wow. Blew right past the Daytona State defender.
Chardell Jones, 3 of 4 from the field. Now there she doubles up with Fournier. Let's see who Heather Marshall gets with the foul. That's on Fournier. That's her second. So Fournier off the bench has picked up 2 here in the first quarter.
Brooke Worrell out of Chesapeake, Maryland, the only non-Florida member of the team.
And I asked Coach Washington how that came to be, and she said they were basically lucky. Worrell joined the team in August. She committed to Morgan State but was unable to get the test score to be able to enroll at Morgan State. There was some conversation between the coaching staffs. It turned out to be a huge get for Daytona State. Washington said she was so aggressive when she first enrolled and started practicing with the team. It was as if she was playing football. That she had to tone it back a little bit.
Take it back a little bit. Foul out by the first quarter.
Worrell's got 7 of the 11 for Daytona State. 8-point lead for Santa Fe. Law off the bounce, ran into a wall. Worrell there defensively. Fulton pushing. Some contact there, but no whistle.
Nope.
Chardell Jones comes out of there with it. The speedster Bldg tracked down from behind and blocked by Carrie Lee. Jones stays with it. And a held ball. The arrow favors Santa Fe.
No timeout there that time. I thought the other timeout the referee gave was a little favorable for Santa Fe. Arrow will go back to Daytona State after this possession.
Carrie Lee with the LeBron-esque chase down block. It looked like Bldg might have a chance for a layup. Jones lost the handle. Sam leads the break for Daytona State. Lee, nice left-handed finish.
Done.
Carrie Lee and Brooke Worrell have provided a huge lift off the bench.
Lee just textbook shielding the ball with her body for that left-hand layup. Gorgeous.
About a 1.5-second differential between the game clock and the shot clock, so Santa Fe in a position to be able to take the last shot of the quarter. Law, step back from 15 feet, and she got hit on the arm. Second first quarter foul on Hamilton.
Yeah, Hamilton actually was showing some good D right there. Just kind of stepped out and caught her on the elbow. You got to be happy if you're Coach Washington for Daytona State to show some spunk, get back into this game. Doing much better.
Janasia Law, 1 of 2. Chance for Daytona State if they push. Fulton, Williams did not get it away in time. So a nightmare start to this game for Daytona State. Trailed 12-0, but they clawed their way back into it thanks in large part to the efforts of Carrie Lee and Brooke Worrell coming off the bench.
You got to be happy if you're Coach Washington. I mean, to be 13-2 at one time and to come back and basically it's certainly a game right now at 2013.
Lee and Worrell with 11 of the 13. Chardell Jones and Stephanie Jackson productive for Santa Fe.
Productive after that kind of vacant 5-minute start by Daytona State. You know, and if whether you're, the Falcons coach or the Saints coach, these are scholar athletes, and they're very productive as far as their academics go. Both teams collectively combined over 3.2 GPAs.
In the case of Daytona State, Janice Washington's team program record last year, 3.19 GPA. Coach Stebbins talks about developing women both on and off the court, and certainly over nearly 2 decades on the job, she's exhibited exemplary marks in both of those areas.
Done very, very well. And that's what the emphasis is on. And as far as you two coaches are concerned, that's what I've seen. You see the program's direction. It's not just for basketball or soccer or what have you. It's in the classroom. Give a lot of credit to both of them.
As we talked at the top of the broadcast about what Coach Washington has done off the floor, really values when she gets calls from former players who say, I remember when you said this to me, when you pushed me, and now I'm doing the same thing for my kids or in my job. Now, those are the moments that she really, really values.
Doesn't that speak volumes, Austin, especially when it's a 2-year program? I would say for these coaches, it's just a tiny bit harder to make that kind of impact in such a short amount of time. And yet here they are doing it.
Now you think about most 4-year programs where you might have a redshirt year, potentially 5 years to be able to forge that kind of connection. Here, less than 2 seasons in some cases.
Such as I was back in the day.
Great defense played there by Worrell. Blocked the drive of Law. Sam right down the middle of the lane.
No hesitation, and you better get out of the way.
Melissa Sam, a 5'10 sophomore from Winter Haven. Didn't play high school basketball until her junior year. Winter Haven's highly respected coach Johnny Lawson recruited Sam off the cheerleading squad. Needed an extra body in the post. Saw her athleticism, convinced her to ditch cheerleading, pick up basketball, and it turned out to be a great decision.
That's an amazing side story.
Offensive foul. There's Sam giving up her body to take the charge.
All right. Sam on both ends making an impact right now.
One more look at the great rotation by Sam in perfect position and absorbs the contact from Jackson.
Just outside the circle. Good job. Good job from Sam.
And 2 quick team fouls on Santa Fe here in the second quarter. Worrell lost it on the way up. Melissa Sam right there to lay it in.
A fortuitous bounce. And Daytona State within 3.
Sam with baskets on back-to-back trips. Also took the charge. And did well to alter that shot out of bounds. It will stay with Santa Fe.
Clock shot stays where it is. Ball did not hit the rim.
And just a 3-point margin. Daytona State, they're once trailing 12-0 at the start of this game, right back in it. There's Bogle, perfectly executed inbounds play, and nothing that Paris Williams could do but take a hack.
Yeah, Paris Williams, they're almost vertically stuffed her. Bogle, 62% free throw shooter, misses 1 of 2.
Santa Fe 67% as a team. Bogle missed both, but Keaubrey Edwards just ripped that ball away from Walker. 2 players that used to go against one another in the 5-star conference here in Volusia County. Walker at New Smyrna Beach and Edwards at Spruce Creek. Now credit Jayla Atmore. She stepped out of bounds. All the official can do is tell you it's not your ball, it's the other team's ball.
Right.
Atmore gave it the college try, but the arrow favors Santa Fe. Jones taking it right into Worrell. Sam rebounds the off-balance shot.
Jones a little disappointed there not to pick up the foul, thought she was pushed.
Walker attacking on the baseline. Good defense played there by Chardell Jones. Bogle a chance to lead the break, and she'll be back at the line after missing a pair.
Good job, Bogle, recognizing Daytona was on its heels at that point.
Second foul on Atmore. He's the third Daytona State player with 2 fouls, and 2 of them are starters, Atmore and Batista.
Atmore and Batista.
So Janice Washington's depth going to be tested here in the opening half. That time Bogle hits both, and Danica Hamilton, who also has 2 fouls, is going to come back in for Atmore. Atmore really upset heading to the bench. Nothing she wants to do more than be out there contributing for her team.
Looks like Carrie Lee coming in.
And so Hamilton out there for a brief period of time, 3 seconds worth before Carrie Lee got up off the bench and came in. Santa Fe starting to extend their defense a little bit here in the second quarter.
Now falling back a little bit. Looked like it was going to be a full court press. Tenacious defense.
Left Carmela Walker wide open. She continues to struggle from beyond the perimeter.
And we are going north and south in a hurry here.
This is the type of pace that we expected. Both these teams want to get up and down. Kiaubrey Edwards called for traveling.
Had some dancing feet there, a little shuffle. Williams taking the inbound.
A 1-3-1 look here from Santa Fe. Lee off the kick from Sam.
A little strong.
Law, a couple of low crossovers. High degree of difficulty shot. She couldn't get it to go. Edwards missed the easy putback.
And that'll be Daytona State ball.
Falcons have the possession arrow. 6.5 remaining here in the second quarter. If you're just joining us, it was a great start for Santa Fe. Led the game 12-0 in the first 3.5 minutes. Daytona State has gotten as close as 3. Worrell going to get a break. Aaliyah Robinson makes her first appearance of the game. Robinson, 6-foot sophomore from Bradenton, just south of the Bay Area. Played high school basketball at Lakewood Ranch.
Even with the pace of play, Austin, both teams looking very fresh.
Now Robinson not expecting the pass to be on the wing there from Carrie Lee. It was a challenge at the start of the year for Daytona State. Not only were the Falcons playing a really tough schedule, but 9 new players on this roster, and you had key returners, Walker, Atmore, and Green, missing a lot of time in the early part of the season. So while it was a challenge early, the benefit now is that you've had some of your younger players that have gotten a lot of court action. So you get into these conference games and you've got a lot more depth and a lot more experience.
Right, you got some seasoned players now because a few were either injured. They got the playing time that was needed.
And we're seeing their contributions here in the first half. There is Robinson from the corner. She rattles home a 3.
A lot of arc on that one.
Robinson happy to see the ball go through the hoop. She was 1 for 10 in Daytona State's last game, but she hits her first shot here. Brings the Falcons to within 2. Robinson calling for it. Contributing off the bench. That one got deflected on the way up. And a timeout for Santa Fe.
I thought there was a foul there on the way up, but our Zebra colleagues did not catch that one.
Almost at the midway part of the second quarter. 5:09 remaining here in the first half. And Coach Washington has to be pleased with the way her team has responded from that tough start.
Yeah, it started as a runaway. Any of the fans that are here right now, I'm sure they're a little bit worried, but obviously DSC showing temerity, coming on back, and as you had mentioned before, there was a lot of time left. Just a shaky start.
Daytona State 16-7 on the year, 3-0 in the Mid-Florida Conference. Santa Fe 3-1 in the conference. So a win today would give the Falcons a 2-game advantage, and they would own a head-to-head series win against Santa Fe. So they'd be a virtual lock to win the league if they can hold home court today.
Exactly. #1 seed for sure in the conference coming up in February.
Just 5 more regular season games for Daytona State after this one's finished today. Paris Williams aggressively pursuing that rebound. Lee sets up Williams. Clean look at a 3. And Daytona State's got the lead for the first time.
For the first time, and the fans are going nuts.
Falcons have outscored Santa Fe now 22-12 since that nightmarish start.
And retakes the lead rather quickly. Ephemeral lead for Daytona State, but they are certainly in it right now. Right back in it.
Walker catches at the high post. Sam able to work her way through some traffic inside.
Rhea Smith looking a little exasperated there. She thought she put her hands up straight.
And they'll get Chardell Jones for the foul.
In the game for Santa Fe, number 1, Bldg. At the Lemerand Daytona State, Sam.
I think just by looking out there, you get the sense that maybe the pace as it's picked up is favoring Daytona State. Seeing a lot of heavy breathing from the Santa Fe players, a liberal substitution from Coach Chandra Stebbins. Daytona State getting stronger as the game goes along.
Correct, and Daytona State using more players from the bunch thus far and keeping legs fresh, and there's a big mistake.
Inbounds pass from Rhea Smith, not on the same page as Bogle. So after 2 free throws from Sam, DSC back in front, and they'll have the ball underneath their own basket. Lee finds Sam, got a nice screen inside, and she'll be right back at the free throw line.
Good job in the low post there by Sam. Getting hacked on the wrist. Refereeing, good view to see that one. Sorry, not Sam, who was hacked. That was Williams.
And Daytona State in the bonus for the remainder of the quarter. Santa Fe has committed 5 team fouls.
A rare miss by Williams, a 71% free throw shooter. Collecting herself here.
Williams, a freshman from St. Pete, played at Lakewood High. They've got one of the toughest coaches in the entire state, Nicole Tunsil. She was a very successful college basketball player. She's had a lot of success in high school, as there's a foul on the Jackson drive. And in the fall of Williams' senior year, the swimming team at Lakewood High did not have a coach. They were concerned they weren't going to be able to have a year. So Nicole Tunsil makes the decision that she is going to step up as the swimming coach, and she's going to make every single one of her varsity basketball players swim in the fall. Felt like it would help with their conditioning. So as the swim team is conditioning throughout the year, anytime they're running outside the pool, the basketball team is dominating. They're
I just see brilliance in that cross-training.
Way ahead, but then they get in the pool, and the basketball players are all getting lapped by the swimmers as they go up and down the pool. So it was a huge relief, said Paris Williams once the swimming season ended and the basketball season began. They were done with spending time in the pool for the fall.
Totally different muscle groups being used there. Open and errant pass there.
Williams there could not jump high enough to get that pass from Melissa Sam. 3.5 remaining in the second quarter. Janice Washington's team back in front by a point, 26-25. A much lower scoring game than what we saw the first time these teams met. 92-88 in favor of Daytona State back on January 9th. A backcourt foul on Camille Pringle. And once again, Santa Fe over the limit, so it'll be free throws for Daytona State.
Two ways to look at that last game they had together. Either excellent offense or really poor defense for that kind of high-scoring game here in NJCAA athletics. Division I.
That was well above the season averages for both teams. Daytona State, 74 points per game. Santa Fe a little bit higher at 78. Lee off to the right on both of those free throws, so she misses a chance to extend the margin. Makes up for it defensively with the deflection. Here comes Walker. Right into the chest of Julia Fournier, and they're going to get her for a block.
Yeah, even if Fournier, because Fournier was right under the cylinder, it was going to count against her no matter what. She was well below the cylinder and within the circle.
Chandra Stebbins really upset with that call. Heather Marshall came over and explained that Fournier brought her arms down. That was the reason for the foul call. Walker 78% at the line. And Chandra Stebbins still not over that call. It's the third foul on Fournier.
Worrell in, Lee out for Daytona State.
Offensive rebound to Leah Robinson. There's a travel.
Yeah.
So Fournier checks out with those 3 fouls. Edwards back in.
As you mentioned, Stebbins relenting and using the bench quite a bit here.
Backside rebound, Chardell Jones. She continues to be active. That was a tough angle for that right-handed shot. Worrell brings it up for Daytona State. Worrell was the player that really provided the spark. Nice ball fake on Jones. Paris Williams draws a foul. Second on Stephanie Jackson. It's been a parade to the free throw line here the last few possessions for Daytona State.
Yeah, a lot of clock stoppages here. An element of obviously being a little bit tired, getting a little bit lazy, and moving the feet. Getting in front of that offender. You got to move the feet.
Daytona State getting a lot of chances at the free throw line here in the second quarter, but not able to take advantage. Falcons just 5 of 11 from the line so far.
Yeah, and that does not prove out to be their normal stats for sure.
Second one good from Williams, so 6 of 12 for a team that shoots 63% for the year, but they've been much better in conference play, 71%. Coach Washington said she thinks a lot of that is due to the presence of Carmela Walker, not only getting to the line more, but helping to elevate everyone else's performance. Williams off the back rim with the 3. Bogle pushing for Santa Fe. Left-handed layup attempt short, and a chance for DSC to run. Worrell, or maybe should have shot it there. She ends up with another opportunity inside. Edwards good defensively, and Chardell Jones tips the rebound away. Jackson inside, hangs and banks it in.
Wow, interesting no calls there. A lot of bodies flying around in front of us here.
A frenetic sequence both ways. coming up on 90 seconds to go.
DSC slowing the pace of play here a little bit.
Robinson just didn't have enough on that to get it over the front rim.
Yeah, a bit tentative on that one.
The Falcons will have a chance to retake the lead. Pringle left open for three. She's got it. Pringle, a rare attempt from the three-point line. 30-28 Santa Fe inches back in front.
Interesting style of taking a three there with the flying elbow.
Worrell, nice face-up jumper from the free throw line.
Quick turnaround jumper there. In the high post, good job by Worrell.
Errant pass, Jones collects it, great feed to Keaubrey Edwards.
Good look on the inside there by Jones.
Once again, the Falcons have a chance to run it down for what will be the final shot of the half.
And looks like Williams is doing exactly that.
Paris Williams couldn't get it to go, and now here comes Santa Fe. Bogle spins. It pops in and out. Rebound out of bounds with 0.6 of a second to go. Santa Fe will have one more opportunity.
Daytona State lucky there not to have an over-the-back foul. Enough time certainly for a quick pitch and a shot.
Jackson directing traffic. Has to be a catch and shoot with 0.6. They'll lob it up toward the rim. Gets it away. No, they'll say no shot. Rhea Smith did not get it away in time. So 32-30, Santa Fe in front as the teams head to the locker room. Well, we thought it would be close, maybe a little bit sloppier than we expected, but Daytona State doing well to crawl out of that big early hole.
Yeah, I was glad to see that for the coach. Obviously, coach called that instrumental timeout after about 5 minutes of play had gone by and gathered the team, collectively calmed them down, and there they are right now with just 2 points down in the lead there for a while.
32-30 at the break. At Daytona State, college coaches and athletes take academics seriously. And with the new stadium and the support of the athletic community, there are many reasons to consider enrolling at Daytona State College. Let's take a look at some of the programs offered here at Daytona State.
It's time to express yourself. You're busy over the holidays. We get it. At Daytona State College, we know a thing or two about how to help you stay on track. Our 7-week express courses start March 18th, so you still have time to get started on a new career. What are you waiting for? Apply today. Lock in your class schedule and financial aid by going to daytonastate.edu/apply or call 386-506-4DSC. It's time to express yourself.
Here at Daytona State College, we have an education program as well as a service program for our student athletes. An athletic trainer is a highly trained, skilled medical professional who's licensed and certified to provide services to a wide range of people with injuries and medical conditions. We collaborate with physicians to provide preventive services, emergency care, clinical diagnosis, therapeutic intervention, rehabilitative services. We probably see an average of 30 or 35 students per day, and that is mostly for treatments before practice and after practice. And that doesn't count the people who just grab an ice bag. We provide most of their medical care, at least in terms of their injuries that they suffer as student athletes. The athletic trainers actually attend all their practices and their games so that if something happens during those practices or games, we are there when it happens, we can see it happen, and we know exactly what type of care to provide. Sometimes it's emergency care, sometimes it's just come and see me after practice and we'll look at that.
So our student athletes have an aquatic center available to them that they can utilize for their workout strength conditioning programs. And the benefit of having an aquatic center is they can do some workouts that aren't as tough and helps your muscles and joints kind of have a break for that, but you're still getting a very, very good workout in. Student athletes who are coming back from injuries, they can go in the pool and utilize the pool. Our soccer team, they may have a lot of heated days where they're out in the sun and they're running, and they can come into the pool, still get a great workout in that will benefit them when they go back on the field, but they don't have those other elements that are affecting them. The training you do really varies based upon where you're at within your year training cycles. A team that's in season, they may come in here once or twice a week, and it's really doing more maintenance, not doing heavy weights, but doing exercises and things that will prevent injuries and maintain what they worked for in the off season. Off season, they're probably in here 5 days a week. Every day they're not working on legs, or every day they're not working on arms, but they're splitting up their workouts. So they're in here 5 days a week, working hard and getting after it. Nearly year-round, you'll find our student athletes in here either a couple times a week or every single day.
I'm a nutrition professor here at Daytona State College, and I'm also a sports dietitian that works with all of our athletic teams. So many times I get asked, what should an athlete eat? It's going to depend upon their sport, the position that they play, the time of year, like what part of the season they're in. Are they in season? Are they out of season? But basically, when we think about creating a winning plate, we think about having 3 things on the plate. Number 1 is lean protein. So that could be something like chicken, fish, lean beef. And then to that, we want our athletes to load up on fruits and veggies. So you might have a good portion of the plate be vegetables. And this is to supply vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants that athletes need for recovery. And then the third part of the plate obviously is going to have some carbohydrates on it. And so we prefer them to eat healthy carbs, so maybe something like a sweet potato, brown rice, for example. And carbs are going to give them the fuel to be able to perform and recover from that day's workout.
It's time to claim your career. At Daytona State College, our new Database Technology Associate degree positions students for high-paying jobs managing databases to drive business strategies. Plus, our Engineering Technology Associate degree includes a new specialization in additive manufacturing. That's 3D printing, a rapidly expanding technology. Prepare for a new career or advance where you work now. Call 386-506-4DSC or visit us online at daytonastate.edu.
The Daytona State College of Education is forever grateful to Volusia and Flagler County Schools and our collaborative partnership that allows us to spend this exciting time out in the field working with these wonderful students, doing one-on-one reading instruction 4 days a week.
Daytona State has definitely prepared me for being a teacher with all the field work that we've been able to experience through the program, as well as the support and help from all of our wonderful professors. And being able to work one-on-one with the students has been a wonderful opportunity to experience that already before I get placed in my senior internship.
So today, we're going to learn about something that I think is really fascinating. We're going to be learning about weather balloons.
In the IMES lab, we have state-of-the-art equipment that help us further our research.
Going to be surveying these seagrass beds here at Oak Hills and looking at how they're changing over time.
I love love doing this, coming out into the field and actually getting my hands dirty. And
you get to do everything you've ever wanted to do in a marine biology program. You get to go out into the field and actually do the work.
We are truly building a program here for students that are interested in conducting undergraduate research. It's a rather rigorous program for a 2-year college.
I'm going out and studying horseshoe crab populations and seeing where their nesting sites are and how often they nest where they are.
The professors motivate us, they inspire us to continue our research and to better ourselves in the scientific community.
This is much better than sitting in a classroom just looking at pictures and listening to people talk. We get to actually feel and see the plants in their natural habitat.
I love this class. I love everything about it. The learning of the names of the flowers. Now it's like putting a name with a face.
Thinking about college? Direct Connect at Daytona State College can put you on the fast track to UCF. Through Direct Connect, DSC and UCF will guide you from your freshman year at DSC through your senior year at UCF, leading you on a path toward success. In fact, when you earn your AA at DSC, you are guaranteed admission as a junior to any Florida public university. Find out more at daytonastate.edu or call 386-506-4DSC.
It's time to claim your career. Daytona State's newest certificate program in hospitality beverage science combines theory and practical hands-on instruction on a range of beverage production processes like craft brewing and wines. Learn how to pair wines and beer with appropriate food choices, produce various styles of beers and wines, as well as how to manage, merchandise, and market beverages. Call 386-506-4DSC or visit us online at daytonastate.edu.
We welcome you back inside the L. Gale Lemerand Center here on the campus of Daytona State. Halftime of the first game of our doubleheader here on WDSC. Santa Fe on the road with a 32-30 lead over Daytona State. Lions at Sofianos. Just saw some interesting promos there for the college. I think what stands out to me, not only the amount of hands-on experience, but the quality of the hands-on experience that students get here, especially in that marine biology program. I was really blown away watching that.
Oh, and we also have a place called the Advanced Technology Center. We have EMT delivered over there. They have Cat 5 cabling, CAD design. But what's really interesting that just came along is something called the Academy of Beverage Science. And if you want to know how to make beer, and get into that industry, which is burgeoning and all over the United States of America, all those small craft breweries, this is a place to come.
Yeah, I love the fancy name for that as well, right?
Right. I guess they weren't just going to call it, beer making. So they came up with the Academy of Beverage Science. I think that's great. And I've been up there and I've had an opportunity to see the whole shindig. Very, very well put together.
I'll show you some of the highlights from the first half. A great start for Santa Fe. They jump out and they led the game 12-0. Daytona State really back on their heels before fighting back to get into the game.
Right, and here we see a few replays. A few of the Daytona State players scrapping for the ball. We've seen a lot of that.
Shardell Jones among those players that had a strong first half for Santa Fe, but some big contributions off the bench. 16 bench points for Daytona State, 9 for Brooke Worrell, 4 for Carrie Lee, 3 for Aaliyah Robinson.
And again, if you start looking at the injuries, the additional playing time for some of the freshmen to give them a little bit more maturity out there in some big games that have occurred in the past. Very tight. I think both teams kind of tensed up toward the end there. A lot more stoppages in play, certainly more fouls than expected based on that first 10 minutes, which was north and south, and a lot of cardio going on.
Pace definitely started to pick up as the half went on. Foul trouble affecting both teams, but Daytona State showing their depth. Janice Washington's club in a great position based on the contributions they got off the bench. First place at stake in the Mid-Florida Conference. Daytona State sitting at 3-0 with that 8-game winning streak. Santa Fe right now 3-1, hot on their heels and trying to forge a tie at the top of the Mid-Florida Conference.
We begin the third quarter with Santa Fe putting the ball into play.
So Santa Fe, really to have any chance at a regular season conference title, has to win today. If Daytona State can get to 4-0 and give themselves a 2-game lead over the Saints, certainly wouldn't be a certainty. Nothing is in sports, but they would be in a great position.
Yeah, certainly more must for the Saints than for the Falcons.
Third quarter starts with the drive by Stephanie Jackson, the All-State selection from a year ago. Second on the team in scoring. Jackson now in double figures with 10. And pass last touched by Rhea Smith, so it'll stay with Daytona State.
So far, very few controversial calls from our referees. They're doing a good job today thus far.
That's Heather Marshall, Tony Napolitano, and Will Bridgewater are the officials. Batista working for position. She picked up 2 fouls in the first half. I don't know if that was a pass or a shot. Melissa Sam the recipient, and her second shot goes down.
Daytona State, especially the second part of that half in the second quarter, having a lot of offensive rebounds, as we just saw.
8 points now for Sam. Jackson a little bit long with the 3. Batista snares it for Daytona State. Batista and Atmore were the starters that were saddled with 2 fouls in the first half. There's Atmore with that aggressive drive. Out of bounds, it will stay with the Falcons.
Sam just fearless. Going into the interior there.
Aggressive and smart player. Walker puts her head down, and that's going to be an offensive foul.
Smith did good to keep her feet there, but it looked like a little bit of a push into Smith from the Santa Fe defender. Referee didn't see it that way. as mentioned before, very few controversial calls. Refs doing a pretty darn good job.
Law with that dribble handoff. Rhea Smith the rebound and a tough angle.
Wow.
Able to get it up and over Batista at 6'4".
Starting off the same way the second half as we did with the first.
Williams around Jackson. Runner off the back rim, rebounded by Janasia Law. DSC doesn't get back defensively. An easy layup for Bogle. And this is eerily similar of the way the game started. You see Daytona State a little lethargic. Santa Fe, aggressive team.
Santa Fe making a statement here. Full well knowing they've got to win this game to lock up the conference playoffs.
Atmore forced to hoist it with the shot clock running down, and another run out. Bogle, Sam gets back defensively. Turnaround is an air ball. Walker's got it for Daytona State. Walker does a good job cutting off that drive and getting back defensively. Sam, turn around at the free throw line.
Just slightly off there.
Law gets on Atmore on the shoulder, and that'll be a foul.
Yeah. Atmore gave a small push there to the side, resulting in a missed shot, but a foul.
Third foul on Jayla Atmore. Atmore already walking toward the bench.
Slow start. Law can extend the lead here.
Law quiet in the first half. She is the leading scorer at 15 a game, only had 4. But she is a competitor. Though she's going to be a factor in this game in the final 2 quarters. Santa Fe, over the course of about a decade, has had big contributions from players in the Jacksonville area. And that's where Janasia Law played high school basketball. An errant pass there from Kaya Fulton.
Rough start for the Falcons. Coach Washington may want to duplicate what she had to do in the first half, which was take a timeout. Sloppy play, not getting back for the ball, ending up in a couple of breakaways and easy points for the Saints. A little razzle-dazzle there, almost ended up in a miscue. 21 Jackson, the general on the floor here.
Bogle with the shot clock at 6. Law forced to take it, contested 3. Batista taps the rebound to Fulton. Williams, nice entry pass to Sam. She's doubled up. Batista, long 2, immediately went chasing after it as Kiaubrey Edwards snares the rebound for Santa Fe. Jackson uncontested all the way to the rim. Batista with a late challenge, and then she traveled with a rebound.
Wow. Just some real sloppy play going on here. The first 4 minutes almost gone of the third quarter.
The experience of the guards for Santa Fe, Law and Jackson, both sophomores that have played in this series a number of times. That's starting to show a little bit right now. Edwards muscles it up and in. Player who starred at Spruce Creek, just south of the Daytona area.
Offensive rebound there. Daytona State going to reset.
9-2 so far in favor of Santa Fe here in the third quarter. Combine that with a 12-0 start. And Santa Fe at the start of the first and third quarters giving themselves a nice margin. Fulton looked like she double dribbled, and there's the call. Thought initially she might get away with it. They might have missed it, but there was the whistle.
looked like almost she tried not to touch it, and then couldn't stop that reflex.
Well, she didn't freak out, which was good. Sometimes someone commits a mistake and then they freak out and the officials know. She just continued on as though nothing happened.
Referees with good eyes there.
Smith, nice face-up on Batista. Took a really difficult shot. And Batista got the rebound. Looked like she may have gotten hit in the eye. She is not making her way down the floor yet. Foul on the drive by Paris Williams. And hopefully Maddie Batista is okay.
Sometimes, they wear contacts and they can get moved around and be very painful.
First foul on Janasia Law. There is Batista. She is going to have to go to the bench. They're trying to position the contact in her left eye. You see the trainer there has got some contact lens solution.
Yeah, hopefully it didn't come out and it's on somewhere on the floor. There's Williams, over 70% free throw shooter.
Now Williams has been playing great as of late. 49 points in the last 3 games entering action today. Fulton boards the miss, and then Pringle, who gave up the offensive rebound, commits a foul.
That was a reach-in by Pringle, no doubt. Got away with it for the first time, but then went back to the table on that. Right now, a collapsed interior shown by Santa Fe, which means you're going to have to spread that out with a couple of threes. Very hard to break down that collapsed defense.
Fulton is the post player. She wasn't presenting herself to the ball. Law, open in the corner. Jackson will drive it inside. Stepping around Lee, couldn't get the shot to go, and now Lee pushing for Daytona State.
Surprising no call there.
Paris Williams right around Law, finger rolls it in.
Wow, pretty move there. Pretty move.
See if Paris Williams can get going. And she's playing defense, holding her left hand.
Obviously in some pain there with the... Oh, great play.
Fantastic defense. That was Carrie Lee once again. Jackson, the reach-in foul. That'll be her third.
You're going to look at the replay. Great two-step, slithering and sliding past the defender. Great job, Williams.
Law trying to position herself to take the charge. Williams alertly stepping around it. 6-point margin, 41-35, as we tick down toward 3.5 minutes remaining here in the third. And that's going to be the 4th foul on Jackson.
Couple of quickies there. Jackson trying to plead her case. Unfortunately, after the fact.
That's the 4th team foul, and now Jackson forced to sit.
In all my witnessing in my life of argumentation after the foul, have you ever seen one reversed?
No. but it doesn't stop anybody from pleading their case, does it?
Right.
Worrell back in there offensively. She had a lift in the first half coming off the bench, unable to get it to her, and there's a foul on Danica Hamilton. A lot of whistles here in the last couple of minutes.
And very pesky defense shown by Santa Fe.
3rd foul on Hamilton. As you can see, 4 on Santa Fe, 3 on Daytona State. And 1 more against the Saints will put DSC in the bonus. Nice hesitation and crossover there from Law. Lost the handle on the way up. Worrell comes out of there with it for the Falcons. Sizing up Jones. Jones blocked the shot.
Wow.
Fulton stayed with it, had her shot altered again. Well, we thought at the top of the broadcast, based on the way the first matchup went, Daytona State would have a decided advantage inside. That has not been the case.
Not happened, I'm sure, to Coach Washington's dismay.
Bogle's pull up off. Easy rebound and put back for Rhea Smith.
Bogle, such a presence under the rim thus far today. Eight-point deficit.
A timeout taken by Daytona State. 2:27 to go in the third. Janice Washington's team trying to find some offense. Just 5 points here in the third quarter.
Yeah, right now, not a lot of, for Daytona State, not a lot of offense being shown. It looks like they lost that momentum that they had going into, coming out of the second half. Going into the second half, rather. They were looking real good from the first half of the quarter, the tail end of it, and then the second quarter really tightened it up. But right now, they're right back to where they looked in the beginning of that first quarter.
Yep, on their heels at the start of the game, and again here in the third, allowing Santa Fe to take a 43-35 lead. And again, the Saints without one of their best players, Ernisha Gamble, guard who averages 13 points, 5 boards, 4 assists per game, and had 18 against Daytona State on January 9th, not available. But some of the other role players stepping up for Chandra Stebbins' team. Santa Fe has won 4 of their last 5. Only loss during that stretch was to Daytona State. So both of these teams really testing themselves against some of the top teams in the state and the country in their non-conference schedule. And they've been rolling through the competition here in the Mid-Florida Conference.
Right now, both coaches got to be proud of the season behind them thus far. But right now, as you start to go into the conference playoffs, you can easily be one and done.
Fulton seeing extended action here in the third quarter. Danica Hamilton lifting a 3. Those are the types of shots that Santa Fe wants Daytona State to take. The Falcons 3 of 12 from three-point range.
Well, to soften up Santa Fe and to extend them out into the perimeter, you're going to have to make some threes. Just what you saw there from Law.
Janasia Law now with 8. Largest lead since the early moments of the game. 46-35. Daytona State trailing by 11. Walker open. There's a big shot. Carmela Walker. See if that gets her going offensively. First field goal for DSC's leading scorer.
Good job to come back from the 3 that Law just made.
Bogle turns the corner. Left-handed shot falls off. Edwards, who's been a nice presence off the bench with the rebound. Jump ball, the possession arrow. We'll give it to Daytona State.
Edwards causing havoc under the cylinder there.
Aaliyah Robinson back in for Daytona State. Fournier checks in for Santa Fe.
Coach Stebbins substituting a little bit more frequently now.
Walker now the only starter on the floor for Daytona State. Under a minute to go here in the third. Worrell steps out. High arcing 3, no good. Chardell Jones with the rebound and the push. Hamilton poked it away, and back come the Falcons.
Jones upset there not to get a foul call.
Hamilton been close a couple of times. That one off as well. And a held ball there between Walker and Edwards.
Possession hour in favor of Santa Fe. Next toss-up will go to Daytona State.
Chardell Jones has been really good today for Santa Fe. She gets a break right now as we go under 30 seconds to go. Santa Fe in a position where they could almost run it down and take the last shot of the quarter if they so desire. Edwards setting up Law. One dribble pull up off the glass is good.
Oh, nice kiss off the window there.
Law in double figures with 10. With 5, Hamilton gets it to Lee. She'll hoist. No good. And the third quarter ends with Santa Fe in control on the road. 48-38 in favor of the Saints. Daytona State manages just 8 points in that third quarter, outscored 16-8. And the Falcons going to have to put together a run here to maintain their stranglehold on first place.
No, exactly. Yeah, right now they're in a little bit of trouble. 10 points down, you're into the fourth quarter, and you definitely lost the momentum. Coach Washington, I'm sure, is giving a good pep talk over there. Coach Stebbins got to be proud of her crew.
Daytona State 3 of 14 from the floor in that third quarter. That is just 21%. And they're not getting the types of shots that Janice Washington wants for her team. Forced to take everything from the perimeter, and it's become much more of a half-court game than Daytona State prefers.
You got 7 players for Santa Fe that, have added to the point value of 48 points. And as much substituting as Daytona State has done, they haven't equaled that. Also, you have 2 players, Law and Jackson, both with double figures right now. If your Daytona State coach, Washington, right now a little bit dismayed. Has it been Stebbins making some sort of strategic alignments, or has it been just tenacious play by her players? Probably a little bit of both.
Mm-hmm. This half-court zone has certainly stifled Daytona State's offense. Not able to get the ball inside. Lots of passing around the perimeter.
Unselfish switching of the
Chardell Jones, the steal. Ball pops out, but she'll be on the line.
Yeah, Jones has been tough today. Number 24, Rhea Smith, also a huge contributor.
And they've essentially flipped the script on the first meeting between these teams when the post players of Santa Fe got dominated. Today it has been a role reversal. Chardell Jones now with 7 points and 13 rebounds, by far the most of any player in the game.
She's got a great presence. She's quick.
Stand out at Jones High School right in downtown Orlando. Her team won 5A state championship when Jones was a junior, and she was the star of that title game. 20 points and 12 rebounds. And she has been a standout here today. 12-point lead for Santa Fe. Whoa. Shot forced. Law comes out of there with it for the Saints. Bogle runs with her. 2 on 3. Bogle got inside Batista. Just too much size to have any chance for that shot. And a run-out opportunity for DSC. Atmore bounce past Batista. Rhea Smith got back to alter that shot. Out of bounds to Santa Fe. Missed opportunity.
Missed opportunity. Had a 2-on-1. Just a nice little layoff. It took too long to execute that play.
Santa Fe going to come back with Stephanie Jackson playing with 4 fouls. Been a frustrating afternoon for Atmore. She has not been able to get going on either end of the floor.
Several fouls. Going to cause a little bit more tentativeness in her play for sure.
Atmore doing her best to hound Janasia Law. Law gets around her. That'll be a block, and the basket will count.
Wow. Law with a coy response there. The bench and the coach sensing that the game is within grips.
Melissa Sam trying to take the charge, just not well positioned enough.
Slicing sideways, one-handed, very pro-like, very LeBron-esque.
Law only had 5 points in the first half. She got 8 so far here in the second half.
Ding, ding, ding. It's been a while since Daytona has rung that bell.
And 15 was the largest lead of the game for Santa Fe, and they've got it again. Reyes Smith, the baseline jumper.
Oh, confidence. Just oozing confidence with that shot. Beautiful jumper. Lots of spin on the ball.
Atmore, no one there defensively. Atmore, the left-handed lay-in. Atmore now has the challenge of guarding Law, known as a tenacious defender. Does a good job keeping her from getting that handoff. Jones faces up. That's going to be an offensive foul.
Yeah. Dipped that left shoulder and took out the Daytona State player.
Smith sits as Edwards checks back in.
I think it was Williams who took that charge. That had to hurt a little bit.
Under 8 remaining, 13-point deficit. Batista turned right into the double team of Shardell Jones, and the possession arrow will give it back to Santa Fe.
That possession arrow has been getting a lot of work today. Now back in favor of Daytona.
Our guys at the scorer's table not able to relax very much given how much they've had to change that thing. Daytona State doing a good job of denying that weave action out high. Walker gets on the floor, and they'll give Santa Fe a timeout.
I don't know how that happened.
Well, that's a break for Santa Fe. I did not think there was clear possession for the Saints.
That was a very friendly and favorable whistle there.
Tony Napolitano believed that they were in possession of the ball. I'll give you another look at it. You can decide for yourself.
I'd like to tell Tony, come on over here and see this, Tony. You might have missed something there. I thought clearly that was another jump ball.
Yeah, no doubt. But I don't know about you. I'm not stepping up to be out there and officiate, so I'll let those guys make a mistake or two during the course of a game.
They're more than welcome to it, except NFL basically for semifinals, for goodness sake. I'm going back to the Saints again. I can't get over it.
That's the second time you mentioned that. Are you a diehard Saints fan?
No,
I'm Super Bowl plans?
I'm a Giant fan. I felt bad for Sean Payton and Drew Brees. They worked so hard a second time. They had it stolen from them last year. Last year, though, not the referee's fault. This year, blatant, poor call by the referee. I think a lot of America's having trouble getting over it.
I think Rams fans are just fine with it. There's Bogle, another offensive foul. That's the third charge taken by Melissa Sam.
13-point deficit, 7.5 remaining. DSC is going to have to step it up here.
Well, the fans that are here trying to inspire a rally from Daytona State. Falcons have led only once today. That was late in the second quarter. Santa Fe has been in command really from the outset. Started the game up 12-0. Sam, one dribble. Nice move inside. Melissa Sam with a bucket.
Strong move there by Sam. Nice jump step and up.
10 points, 4 rebounds, 3 charges taken for the sophomore from Winter Haven. Nice back cut by Law. Jones gains possession. That is off of Jones. It'll be Daytona State ball. Good defense, Maddie Batista.
So far, not a lot of stoppages in play. The clock's been running pretty quickly. That's not in Daytona State's favor right now.
If you can string together a couple of scores and a couple of stops, just haven't been able to sustain any kind of momentum.
Look how hard Santa Fe is working that defense, though. Unselfish zone defense being displayed there.
Atmore off the back rim with the 3. Good rebound by the guard, Stephanie Jackson. Guards controlling the game offensively right now for the Saints. Bogle, Law, and Jackson have been a nightmare to try and defend.
As both of these teams, looking to get into the conference playoffs, you got to be happy if you're Coach Stebbins with these last several games and certainly the display of effort today.
Law forces it up with the shot clock running down, and she may have landed awkwardly on her ankle, limping a little bit as she walks down to the other end of the floor. That's good defense played by Atmore. See just a stumble there as Janasia Law came down, but she is still out there. Appears to be just fine as she's playing defense. Paris Williams lifting for three. Hasn't been there from three-point range today, and Batista could not save the ball from going over the end line.
A good effort. A lack of rotation on the far side enabled that three-pointer, but that's, you got to make them. If they're going to give you that much space, you got to make those. Williams consistently with that huge arc of a shot.
Boy, Atmore trying to rise to the challenge of defending Janasia Law. Bogle. A teardrop no good. Batista, the strength to rip it away from Rhea Smith. Walker on the baseline. Well, she made her mind up that that shot was going up.
I heard one of the fans say she traveled. Could have been.
Gets the margin to single digits, 55-46. Atmore with a little bit of a reach and some conversation now between Atmore and Janasia Law. I think each is going to be given a technical foul.
Law giving a little bit of lip service there after the call against the Daytona State defender.
That's the fourth foul on Atmore, and the technical foul is going to be her fifth. So Jayla Atmore is going to foul out of the game as a result of that technical foul. And Danica Hamilton will come on for Daytona State.
Yeah, lack of maturity shown there, unfortunately. And put herself out of the game, and she's valuable. You'd hate to lose Atmore.
And Chandra Stebbins laying in to her sophomore guard right now. Telling her, you're better than that, you're bigger than that. And so Law will watch from the sideline for at least one possession as Santa Fe leads by 9. Tony Napolitano playing peacemaker there as Daytona State is ratcheting up the defensive intensity.
And they're going to have to. And Coach Stebbins got to be really happy with how effective her defense has been this second half, or I should say fourth quarter and third quarter.
Daytona State, a team that averages 74 points per game, right now sitting on 46, but it's not over yet. Walker with the steal, right into Jackson, she lays it in. Walker with back-to-back buckets, Daytona State's leading scorer coming to life here late in the fourth.
Good job by Walker there. Jackson letting her go through, not committing the foul. I think that was a smart play by Jackson.
One more stop and a score, and things get pretty interesting. Bogle's shot swatted over the baseline by Hamilton.
Great defense, all ball there, 100%.
And Janasia Law back in there for Santa Fe after a quick rest on the sideline. A chance to compose herself. Pringle in between defenders, couldn't get it to go, stayed with it, and she'll be on the line.
Pringle very active. Pringle only at 5'8", jumping higher than everyone around her, showing some real athleticism there.
She's got a little bounce to her game. Post player who is significantly undersized going up against Batista at 6'4", Sam at 5'10".
Oh, she had some springs shown there.
61% free throw shooter. One of 6 children. There you see just the tenacity to stay with it. One of two for Camille Pringle, 5'8" freshman from Ocoee, suburb of Orlando.
8-point differential. Daytona State's going to have to turn up the screws now.
Walker, a couple of buckets on the last two possessions. Love to get her an open look. Paris Williams hoisting that three. Batista taps the rebound, the law. One and done again for Daytona State. And with Atmore fouled out, it's Danica Hamilton that will attempt to pester Janasia Law. Santa Fe with the lead in no hurry, running that shot clock down under 10 on just about every possession. Baseline jumper, no. Pringle wide open on the backside with the lay-in.
Pringle with the ups. 10-point deficit.
Walker, three off the front rim. Hamilton in heavy traffic. Able to get another possession for Daytona State, and there's an offensive foul.
A lot of contact there.
Pringle took it right into Rhea Smith. And she ends up getting called for the foul.
Teammates rally around her, help her up. Looks like she's able to shake it off. And give credit right there, as you saw the replay, to Smith to get her feet outside the circle.
That restricted area, if your feet are on that, pretty much an automatic defensive foul. That's the toughest call in basketball, that block charge call. So difficult to officiate and administer that. It happens so quickly. Oftentimes the action is razor thin between whether or not a player is moving or in position. Walker certainly out of control there, but it did look like there was a little bit of movement from Rhea Smith, and she'll get called for an offensive foul on the other end.
For a hook. She's had a heck of a game, though. Rhea Smith. Daytona State rolling the ball out there, trying to stop the clock from its quick pace.
Sam, baseline jumper. Doesn't get the roll. Batista had a chance at the rebound. Rhea Smith comes out of there with it. Santa Fe able to run the game clock down close to 2 minutes on this possession. And it's a double-digit lead. Chardell Jones faces up and attacks.
Wow.
Foul on Batista will put Chardell Jones on the line.
You know, I don't have the stats in my head, but I would say a lot of the 50-50 balls and the scrapping shown by Santa Fe, they've picked up most of them.
I agree with you, Ted. It just looks like, especially here in the second half, that Santa Fe has wanted it more.
Yeah.
And that coming in was, that was the narrative. Certainly this was a game that meant a lot more to Santa Fe in terms of the standings than it did to Daytona State. A desperate Santa Fe team has come on the road and put together a fantastic defensive performance.
And I like the way you just portrayed that. Yeah, certainly they might be desperate, but they didn't get out of order. They kept their composure. Didn't panic. Just took it to Daytona State from the get-go.
Daytona State got within 7 at 55-48. You felt like they had a little bit of momentum, but Santa Fe has stunted that. They've scored the last 4.
And without one of their best players. Hats off to Coach Stebbin and her crew.
Williams still not able to get one to go from beyond the three-point line. Walker clean look right at the top of the key. The three-point shooting struggles continue for Daytona State. 4 of 22.
Yeah, too many Hail Marys. A little hand check that.
Paris Williams and Stephanie Jackson exchanging some words. It'll be a 2-shot foul as Santa Fe is in the bonus. Free throws for Stephanie Jackson, the 5'7" sophomore from McKinney, Texas.
Minute and 35 here remaining. Austin, and we're going to dial it right back up in about 20 minutes for the men's game.
Get to see the Daytona State men taking on Santa Fe. Another highly anticipated game. Daytona State 18-4, and even though this game maybe didn't live up to the offensive billing that we had at the top, didn't compare to the first time these teams met, boy, Santa Fe and Daytona State really get up and down the floor on the men's side.
Oh yeah. That's going to be an exciting one to watch. And then truly, this has been an exciting game to watch as well. Just unfortunate for Daytona State to be waning here in the final moments.
A long stretch here late in which Daytona State has not been able to find a basket. Santa Fe has scored the last 6. A foul by Hamilton means free throws for Janisha Law.
Yeah, Law definitely had listened to the coach. Watch your attitude. No reason to get out of sorts with the opposing players and or the referees.
Well, these teams will meet one more time in the regular season, February 13th at Santa Fe. They get 2 home games. And given the way this one went and the way the standings will look after this, that game is almost certainly going to determine the Mid-Florida Conference regular season champion.
I definitely agreed.
That drive by Williams kind of indicative of how it's gone offensively for Daytona State. Just 48 points in the game. More than 25 below their season average.
And I'll chalk that up to impressive defense shown by Santa Fe Saints. Coach Stebbins has got to be happy. She's a stoic figure on the bench right now. Doesn't show a lot of emotion. But a lot of contributions from various members of her team. And here we hear the countdown.
Jones can't get it to go. It doesn't change the fact that she has had a fantastic game. Worrell will be a block. Free throws with 14.7 to go. Daytona State with 8 consecutive wins. That streak is going to come to an end. They'll drop to 16-8. Back at it this week at College of Central Florida. 3 straight on the road for Daytona State. This is just their second home loss of the year. They've been so good. 10-1 at home this season.
Yeah, they ran into a juggernaut here today. A buzzsaw defense. Scrappy, tenacious, pesky. Enjoyed watching it.
Energetic bench. Lots of clapping, lots of smiles on the Santa Fe side as the final seconds tick off the clock. It will be a 13-point win for Santa Fe. And so the road team has won each of the first 2 games this season in this series. Daytona State winning 92-88 up in Gainesville on January 9th. Santa Fe returns the favor, 63-50 here this afternoon, and each team now has 1 loss in the conference standing.
You know, certainly not a blowout, but you just never felt after the first 5 minutes of the third quarter that Daytona State was in it.
12-0 start for Santa Fe, and even though Daytona State led at some point in the second quarter, Santa Fe went to the locker room with the lead. They came out and immediately asserted themselves in the third quarter.
Yeah, and the defense that I watched, which was that really difficult to break through zone defense and the unselfish switching of the players while Santa Fe was in the defensive mode, I was really, it was really something to watch. I was impressed.
8 for 29 from the floor for Daytona State in the second half. They did not get the type of shots that are the best for their offensive system.
Yeah, the only way they were going to basically soften up that defense was with the outside shooting, and their three-point, field goal percentage today was kind of awful.
Take a look back at some of the highlights from this one, and a lot of positives for Santa Fe, especially in the second half. Got out to a 9-2 start in the third quarter and really never looked back in the game. I don't think there was a point in the second half at which you could say Daytona State was threatening to come back in it.
No, that is entirely correct. And as we start to, go forward with the rest of the season upcoming, I'd say Daytona State has a very good chance of making those conference playoffs, but I tell you, the Falcons accented what's going to be their future for the 2018-19 season.
A great step through by Paris Williams. One of the few highlights for Daytona State in the second half. You talked a lot during the course of the broadcast about the 50-50 balls. It just seemed like all of those were going to Santa Fe at both ends of the floor.
Yeah, and you had mentioned it before as well. You said they just seemed like they wanted it more. It was the tenor, the attitude, and the strategy being deployed by the coach. Got to hand it to Coach Stebbins.
Standouts for the game. Carmelo Walker, the leading scorer for Daytona State, finishes with 8. Some great plays on both sides, but it is Santa Fe that is victorious here this afternoon, 63-50. So the women's game goes to Santa Fe. We'll have the men's game coming up here in about 15 minutes on WDSC. The same two programs will go at it.
And there is some size on both sides. There are some big uns on both sides for these teams upcoming.
Our upcoming live broadcasts here on WDSC. We'll be back with you March 2nd for the next women's basketball game. March 2nd at 2 p.m. as Daytona State hosts Florida State College of Jacksonville, another doubleheader. Women start at 2, men at 4, and then exciting that we're getting into spring sports. You've got baseball and softball on the docket in March.
Yes, indeed. And also as far as the live entertainment that our communities are receiving right now, this only started to be created maybe a couple of years ago to start doing live broadcasts and HD TV. And that is through the college's SIM, Center for Interactive Media. So you have a lot of students here that are participating, learning, and finding out how they are supposed to proceed as production managers, directors, and whatnot.
Another part of the hands-on experience that students get here at Daytona State. Some work to be done for Janice Washington's team. They fall 63-50 in the women's game coming up next. The men will be on the court. Tip time for that one shortly after 4 o'clock. So we'll be back with you here in about 15 minutes. For our entire crew, Austin Lyons saying so long from Daytona State. We will see you back for the men's game between the Falcons and Saints of Santa Fe. Come back with us for that at 4 o'clock.